I would describe Alex as super charismatic.
Very easygoing.
Smart, super kind.
A great friend.
Sweet guy overall.
Always had something to talk about.
Really funny.
Really like sensitive and caring.
That's why he got along with so many people.
He was the kind of person that wouldn't say a bad word about somebody.
He always knew what to say to you no matter what.
He just wants to meet and be friends with as many people as he can.
He just had a really, really big heart.
He was just amazing.
Probably the single best person I've ever met.
We don't understand why he was needed elsewhere.
How did he do it? Just how can you be that nice? That much? Just...
I get to the front door, I look out the little side window and I see this big trooper and this woman and I'm like, holy crap. So I get the door open and there's, are you Mrs. Hunter? Melody Hunter? I said, I am. I said, did something happen to my Alex?
Well, the Butler County coroner now identifies the victim as 17-year-old Alex Hunter. Authorities say he was killed this morning while driving to school on the same road where he lived.
Hello everyone, and this is me, Alex Hunter, climbing a mountain. I'm gonna climb it. There we go. As you can see, I am on a garage. Actually, in a garage, not on a garage. Oh, what's going on? Okay. Whoa, everyone. This is on top of it. I'll give you a little view. As you can see, there's a Mini Cooper. There's a ball coming up. So this is the parachute that fell. Here's the rest of it. And there is a slide. There's a couple signs, a couple people. And that's pretty much all of the garage, people. Bye for now.
Initially, I didn't really want to have kids, and Jeff didn't want to have kids, and we got married on that agreement that we weren't having children. So that didn't change for a number of years. When we moved to Pennsylvania in fall of '97, Jeff said, hey, you've been working your whole life. Do you want to try to, not work and stay at home? And I was like, well, I guess. So I stayed home for 2 years, and partway through that 2 years, he'd come home from work and he'd say, oh, I went to lunch at Atria's today and I saw the prettiest baby, because Jeff is a kid magnet. All children love him. Like when we were first married, one day he pulled up in our driveway and somebody's basketball came slamming towards his car, and he grabbed the basketball, gave it back to the kids. He didn't yell at them or anything like that, and they were like, oh, thanks, man, blah, blah. And it turned out they're like, do you want to play basketball with us? So I guess he hung outside for a little while. But a few days later, in the afternoon, I was home. Some kids were knocking on my door. I'm talking about like 10, 12-year-old kids. They're like, hey, can Jeff come outside to play? And this is a long time ago, so I didn't have all this gray hair. I'm like, I'm not his mother. He gets home at 5:15. When you see that blue car out there, he's here. You ask him if he wants to play. So, kids always like him. So when we go places to restaurants, babies are attracted to him. So he'd come home and he'd tell me. And then finally one day I was like, okay, I'm just going to tell you the truth. I don't want to hear any more of your baby stories because I have changed my mind. But I'm going to stick to our agreement. And he's like, you really changed your mind? Because I changed my mind. But I didn't say anything to you because... So that's how that happened. And a month later, we were pregnant with Alex.
And this will start the first official filming of the new house. And we've got the lovely Melody folding the baby's clothes. Let's see what you got so far. What's that one?
Oh, ducky onesie.
Where did we get that from?
We bought it ourselves.
This is actually being filmed on the expected due date. All we're doing right now is getting some laundry done, getting all the baby's clothes washed and folded and put away. This is the nursery right here. This is actually the room on top of the garage. Makes a nice little nursery. We're just a little prepared. Just to show you that I do work hard. I think we're going to be great parents.
I think you're right.
Well, this is the nursery. The most important room of the house now.
About 5 in the morning, when I'm in the restroom, when I stood up, my water broke. I'm like, Jeff! And finally he comes in, he goes, what's the matter? I said, my water broke. He goes, are you serious? I go, well, I think it did, unless I peed myself. I'm like, can you just get me some clothes? I'm going to take a shower in here and, get myself together so we can go to the hospital. Jeff had to take a shower, eat breakfast. You're not allowed to eat if you're on the way to the hospital and your water has broke. My husband had to eat and get showered and get ready. And because he knew he was being reasonable. Your first baby doesn't, usually pop out. So we finally are getting ready to leave. We take one last picture of me pregnant outside in the rain, and we go to the hospital. Well, that was early Saturday. Early Sunday, we still didn't have a delivery. We had Alex on Sunday evening, so things didn't progress along, and it got to a point where we were both in danger, and the doctor said, I need you to consider having a C-section. And I said, is the baby in danger? He says, yes. I yanked the clipboard out of my doctor's hand, scribbled something not resembling any kind of signature, and gave it back. And 7 minutes later, they had me in the operating room. At first, I didn't hear anything, and I got scared. And then suddenly I could hear him crying. And then they bundled him all up. They bundled him up so much so that you almost couldn't see his little face. And then they put him right next to me. I couldn't see him. All I saw was blankets. Jeff goes, he's beautiful. I go, I can't see him. So they turned him. And then they said, well, we have to take him and check him over. And Jeff and I had made this agreement that if things went south, that he was to go with the baby. But he really struggled with that, but he went. So they took care of all my business and everything and had to put me in a recovery area. After a while, Jeff couldn't stand it anymore. And so a relative had arrived at the hospital, and he says, you stand here and you look at that baby, and where that baby goes, you go if it's not where it's supposed to be. I have to go check on Melody. So my husband literally went through places he wasn't supposed to go to in the hospital to get to the recovery area where I was, because he was scared that something had happened to me, because it was all unexpected. Everything was textbook the whole way through, and then we had this weirdo emergency C-section at the end. But we got the best prize. He was perfect. He was a fat baby. At first I would get offended when people said that. But he was 8 pounds, 1 ounce, and he was 20 inches long. He was a little bundle, a little plumpy, cute guy. We loved him right away. And we loved him before we had him. Let's face it, we were crazy about him.
We had him home for a week now. 1 week and 1 day. He is still king of the household.
So hello everybody, my name is Alex. And I got a bad case of the hiccups. Oh. See you later, people.
That's my boy. He wants to go to sleep. I'm gonna play to the camera. I don't think so. Okay, okay.
We're gonna miss these little squeaks when the squeaking goes
Oh,
away.
yes we are.
You got a little milk mustache going there.
And how old is he now?
5 weeks old. Growing fast.
Another hour and a half and he'll be exactly 5 weeks old.
He was a really good baby. I mean, I cannot explain how good he was. Like, he just was easygoing and really lovable and cuddly. Like, he really loved to, you know, be cuddling on one of us or the other. Like, if I was doing stuff, you know, household stuff, and Jeff was anywhere, he'd be sitting on Jeff. Not like sitting right here or sitting right here. Like, I'd walk in the living room and he'd be sitting on his dad's shoulder, like leaning on his head. I mean, it was comical. They were always like hanging out, playing and stuff. And then for the first 4 years or so, Jeff still went to a traditional office job. So Alex and I would be here, you know, unless we were out doing other things. So we would play. If it was wintertime, we'd run around in here. Like when you get your, I don't know, when he got his first tricycle, it's all brand new and whatever, you get it for Christmas. He'd just ride it in the house. Because it's Christmas time, you can't send him outside to ride a tricycle. Same thing with the big wheel. Everything goes around in a circle through here, so he just plow through. And when he got to certain heights, in the kitchen, I would stand in the kitchen while he did that, because that was the one place he might hit his head as he was coming around the corner. So I just stand there and put my hand over the corner of the thing so he didn't knock himself out.
Alright, kids, don't worry. Santa's coming with his presents. Jingle, jingle. Everybody. Yeah, I'll bring it to the children. Right on. Right on.
I used to do this thing because I had the privilege of being a stay-at-home mom, where I made sure they had just father and son time without me hovering, so that they went to something. And then they came back, and Alex comes running in the house, and he hugs me. He goes, "Mom, we had the best time." I said, "What'd you do?" He goes, "I'm not talking about that." He says, right now, when we turn on the East Brewster Road," he says, "Dad drove on 2 wheels. 2 wheels!" And I mean, I was dying laughing. They made the right off of Mercer. So it's like, it's more than a 90-degree turn. Like, you really have to, he was not on 2 wheels in his Honda Accord. But Alex felt like he was on 2 wheels because he took the corner fast. And Alex was like so excited because he thought his dad drove the car on 2 wheels. And when he said it, Jeff rolled with it, like, yes, we did. But I was like, a big thrill to him. He couldn't wait to, be driving. He just had this massive obsession, like I said, his little Hot Wheels. He used to, put all kinds of toys to make roadways and whatever all through the house. And then my friend Michelle, her husband Bob had his Hot Wheels tracks from 1960 something. He gave those to Alex. And it was a ton. I was like, holy crap, was Bob's parents rich? It was tons of track. Alex would make down the stairs and turn this way and through here. Then he'd get oh my God. Alex had a stuffed toy that I still have it. It was his companion toy, his Levi. His name's Spike. He would stand Spike up, and then you'd have the road go under him. And then you get another toy over here. It was hilarious. But yeah, he was obsessed with that. little Hot Wheels.
Alex!
Wake up, boy, wake up!
Being an only child, Alex loved to be around other kids, so I would take him to things so that he had that opportunity. Story time at the library. Our church had something called Children's Hour. It's like every Wednesday. And I'd take him to these things. The first time I took him, my husband said, "He's not going to go. He's not going to leave you. He's like so attached to you." And I thought, nah. So we get there, and all these kids, the mothers are trying to drop them off, and they're holding onto their mother's legs, and they're screaming. And Alex sees all these other children. He just walks away. No, see you later, Mom, or Mom, are you staying with me? I go, "Hey, Mr. Hunter." He turned up and he looks at me, and I said, "Can I get a kiss?" And he gave me a kiss, and he was gone. He was in that classroom with other kids who also apparently didn't care if their mothers left. And he was gone. I was like standing there, and I was like, some lady goes, "Run while you can." I'm just surprised because my husband kept saying, "Y'all will be back here in 20 minutes. He's not staying." And sure enough, the opportunity to hang out with friends at any age, he was gone. Same thing happened for preschool, and the same thing happened at kindergarten. No problem. He was happy to see me when I picked him up. There was never a time that anyone ever called and said, "Oh, your son's upset. He wants you to come and get him." He wanted to be with other kids. And initially he would say, "Why don't I have a brother?" I said, "Well, now that say he's 3 and he's asking me this question, why don't I have a brother?" "Well, if I gave you a brother now, you'd always be 3 years older, so you wouldn't be interested in the same things at the same time anyway." And he'd think about it, and then we'd have somebody over, and they'd be here for a little while. Let's say they were going to stay here for 4 hours. 2 hours in, he's like one of those kids going, because one time it was siblings, and the siblings kept fighting with each other, and he's not like, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like when people are mean. So, yeah, he had a lot of little friends from church and elementary school.
Do something. Hi. Stop it. Boy.
Some of the people he knew since kindergarten. A few he knew since preschool. Some of them he's known since birth because we all went to the same church. And so he knew people from church that he went through school with all the way through. It's something that a lot of people don't have. I think that I see it as a privilege that if you can grow up in the same place for your whole formative years from birth through adulthood, I think it's a great privilege because you build community with your friends and, just you're in a comfortable space to be able to know. And there's advantages too to people that moved around. I moved around a lot when I was a kid. But something that we wanted for Alex was that stability of having community and, going out and knowing a lot of people that he interacted with every day. I would say kids that came over and hung out really was more towards the end of the elementary school.
We went to the same elementary school together. We went to Center Township.
I remember I was in elementary school. We were in first grade. And our moms became friends because they sew together. And just ever since then, we knew each other, and we would hang out sometimes or help each other with homework and things like that.
I met Alex, I've known Alex in elementary school on and off, but we would run into each other a lot at Skate Castle, sadly. And I think that's when we started connecting more. And the more friends we made, and it just became a full circle around Butler, and we just got close since.
They made fast friends. So then there was always the running through of the yards, because they don't run in the road. So they'd run through everybody's yards to each other's houses.
Every time I went over to his house, we would walk down, because my grandma lived about a quarter mile down the road, half mile down the road. So we'd walk all the way down to her property and just walk around in the woods and just make bonfires and be stupid.
Hold it! Hold. Okay, ready? Now throw it in. Throw it in! Someone's recording. Oh, Jeff is.
What's that?
Just recording.
I'm recording. Oh, yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Andrew and that whole group of friends, they would come over. They had a strange name for their group, the Awkwards.
That was all of us that had played video, just mainly our video game group. Yeah, on the weekends we would, with his dad Jeff as well, we would stay up till about 5 a.m. just on sometimes a school night, just playing games.
I do remember all of them together all the time, but I wasn't part of that. I wasn't part of that crew.
There was 4 or 5 of us that would just play the same games for hours on end. So yeah, that was a new memory, an old memory you just brought up.
But they did kind of all behave awkwardly at that age. One time I left and they arrived while I was gone. I went to go get pizza. So I came back with the pizza. They were all having fun in here. Jeff was here. And when I walked in, they all went in the kitchen and sat on the floor. And I was like, I just put the pizza down and walked away. I don't know if there's something they planned, if they thought, it was going to be funny. It was.
Sing it, boys.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to your grandma. Happy birthday to you.
What's up, Grandma?
Stand next to each other, people.
Well, we don't know each other.
Sing it
Birthday
again.
on me.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to your grandma.
I'm not gonna get hugs.
Well, not boy. There's one
Oh,
on the cake.
candles. There's not any more for your Mexican.
Oh, no wishes for him.
No, you have to blow it all in one. Like one breath and just.
You like a do-over?
No. There's enough wax on this cake already. Okay.
Yeah, I want the wax.
He had long hair. Not super long, but when he was pretty young, let's say kindergarten, first grade, we were driving on Duffy Road and he saw this kid on a bicycle, and this kid had long hair like a skater and the hair was blowing in the wind. And Alex looks at me and he goes, when I'm a teenager, I'm going to grow my hair long so it could blow in the wind like that. I said, well, that's interesting. Because I cut his hair for him. So I was like, well, that's going to be fun, the long hair thing. But then when he started to say, I want to let it grow, we just let him, it's just hair. So for a long time, he wore it kind of scraggly and long. And then, I'm going to say close to freshman year. And then I convinced him to cut it. That worked out good because right after that, that's when he got his girlfriend.